Well, Black and White Network supporters, I can tell you the one thing I have not done. I have not sat back and thought, you know what sounds like a good idea? Let me climb into a vehicle to get a ride in which no one is driving. That sounds like a terrible idea in my opinion. And, well, it seems General Motors, who has launched this program, it's called the Cruise program. It's a ROBO taxis, they call it. Well, imagine me not surprised when I find out that this program has now been suspended. Now, why has it been suspended? How about running into a pedestrian? Yeah, just let me run somebody over. Let me just run them down. I'm in the back seat, watching in horror as a unmanned vehicle. Now, the one thing I've wondered about these vehicles as they're driving down the road at speed limits, I assume of up to 65. You're in Texas, 70. I don't even know if they got these things in Texas. But the point is, you're driving down the road 70. What happens if one of these taxi services or these unmanned vehicles all of a sudden lose connection to, I would assume, some kind of World Wide Web situation? Some kind of signal it's getting? What happens when that signal just goes on the fritz? Because anybody that's ever had any internet understands that at some random times, internet can actually go down. I've thought about that, and I'm like, God, this seems like one of the worst ideas in the history of bad ideas. But I'm not surprised. Breitbart. Cruise, the autonomous vehicle subsidiary of General Motors, is temporarily halting even its manned robotaxi operations in the United States as part of an extensive safety review following a series of concerning incidents. So I guess even the ones that have a supervisor involved have been shut down. Engadget reports the GM's robotaxi subsidiary Cruise has announced a significant pause in its operation. This decision comes in the aftermath of a pedestrian collision on October 2nd, which led the company's driverless vehicle permit in California, being revoked. Driverless vehicle permits. I didn't even know there was such an animal. While the suspension was originally of just the operation of the autonomous robotaxis, it has extended to robotaxis who have a human safety supervisor in the car. Oh, jeez. All right, so this is their little ride right here. Whatever this is. This is all new Chevy. Hope you get there. I don't know what it is. I can't recognize it. The company has engaged Exponent, an independent engineering consulting firm, to conduct a thorough safety probe. You know what? If you decide to sit down in one of these rides and take off when it's unmanned, you're probably in need of a probe, okay? I mean, really. Maybe a lobotomy would do you some good, because you obviously could use a trip to an asylum. I can't think of something more unsafe on planet Earth outside of, walking into a BLM rally or something like that, wearing a Trump hat. This review, initially focused on the October incident, is now expanding to include all aspects of Cruise's operations. The company is aiming to understand and address any potential safety issues before resuming operations. Again, how about the obvious? Nobody's effing driving your car. Cruise is also reinforcing its administrative structure by appointing Craig Glidden, General Motors Executive Vice President of Legal and Policy, as the new Chief Administrative Officer in an attempt to enhance transparency and community engagement. Cruise is also continuing its search for a permanent Chief Safety Officer. God. Oh, man. That makes me think about oilfield jobs and the safety man. You know who was worthless as tits on a boar hog? The safety man. Yikes. But has yet to announce any new appointments. All of these steps are part of an elaborate damage control campaign orchestrated by the company. Reports have also surfaced about the Cruise's robo-taxi struggling to detect children. What? My wife just kind of looked at me like, they're struggling to detect children? And lacking data on child-specific scenarios. I mean, what happens if a squirrel runs out or something? What's that thing going to do then? Veer off into the swamp? I mean, what's going on? This raises significant concerns about the technology readiness for real-world situations. No shit. Especially in urban environments where children are common. In addition to safety concerns, the company is facing internal challenges. God, this is one of the worst ideas ever. It's reported that Cruise will undergo employee layoffs in the coming weeks, reflecting the strain on the company as it works to rebuild public trust and address safety issues. You know, I did know that this sort of thing was coming down the pipeline. But I guess me and all of my common sense, I just sit back and go, and I see the commercials. There's one right now, I think, with Serena Williams, where she's driving across a bridge with no hands on the steering wheel. And guys, I got to tell you, I don't feel like anything sends a shiver of cringe up my spine more than somebody driving across the bridge, not holding on to the wheel of the vehicle, of a massive SUV. It is amazing. Has anybody noticed? Everybody celebrates the great strides we've made in technology, and I understand. There's reasons to celebrate some of them. I get it. But there's some where they have completely eliminated common sense in the scenario of even processing. You know, one could argue AI might be one of those, as Skynet is waiting any day to activate. Speaking of, imagine if you're in this vehicle and that's the day that Skynet decides to activate. What's going to happen then? Are you indeed going to be driven into quicksand? I mean, that's one less human, right? That throws water on the computer or decides to realize all we got to do to stop it is to unplug it from the wall. That's crazy, folks. Call me nuts, okay? Couple of things I'm not doing. I'm not driving down the road with my hands off the steering wheel. I'm not doing that. Call me nuts. Call me daring, brave, stinging, courageous. All I got to do is dye my hair purple. And I'm not getting into a vehicle in the back seat with nobody at the wheel and agreeing to go on a little Sunday drive in that vehicle. I'm not doing that. I want to see actual people in vehicles. And I understand you get in an Uber these days, you don't know if you're getting your throat sliced. I get that. Folks, go to work. Buy your own vehicles so you can go from point A to point B. Yeah, call me old school. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.